Hi there, this is your Back in the Groove Again coach, Linda, and your teacher with another series, another element to the series on emotional intelligence. I started a series a few days ago. I presented you with this model on emotional intelligence, and in some of the other videos I've covered self-perception, competency, self-expression, competency, as well as interpersonal competency. And today, I'm going to be looking at decision-making competency. See that? And you can see in the decision-making competency, there's problem-solving, reality testing, and impulse control. And why is this important? Why is being aware of how our emotions interfere or enhance our decision-making skills? If we're not aware of how our emotions interfere with our decisions, we might not be making the best decisions. So by creating this awareness, and of course this is what emotional intelligence is all about, it's all about being aware of how our emotions affect ourselves and affect others. And of course, our emotions also affect our decisions. So everything is related. Let's first talk about problem solving. Problem solving is the ability to find solutions to problems despite the emotions that are involved. So you might be aware of your emotions, but not be able to make decisions. So your ability to make decisions, even though there are emotions involved, is what we're talking about here. Problem solving includes the ability to understand how those emotions might impact your decision making. And this is really important, especially when it comes to relationships, whether it's relationships at work or relationships at home. Oftentimes if we're really, really upset with somebody, it might not be the best time to make a decision. If you make a decision without keeping in mind the emotions that might be driving that decision, you might regret making that decision later on. So when you're problem solving and you're using your emotional intelligence, you're able to understand how these emotions might impact, and perhaps if you're aware of how it might impact, you might hold off to making that type of decision. So problems must be identified and viable alternative solutions must be considered, even though you may be experiencing stress and pressure. And this is what I was referring to. So you might have to think of possible solutions or hold off on making some decisions because you are aware of how your emotions might be impacting your decisions. So decision making is a competency, and problem solving is the skill that we were referring to. Now the next skill that falls under the decision-making competency is reality testing. And this skill is the capacity to remain objective by seeing things as they really are. And when we get into an argument, our emotions sometimes take over. And the challenge is to only look at the facts. What is really happening here? So reality testing is the ability to see things as they actually are, not being clouded by all of the emotions that you might be feeling. And of course, this skill involves recognizing when emotions or personal bias can cause you to be less objective. So it's knowing that, okay, perhaps my emotions are getting in the way and I might be a little bit more biased than I want to. It's that knowing that, and then going back to just what is the facts, trying to, look at the facts only, and then making, the decision. You can see how it's all related, right? So this is, what I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you now to rate yourself on that scale of 0 to 10, or 0 to 5. Let's just use 0 to 5 today for problem solving. How would you rate yourself on that scale of 0 to 5 for problem solving? The ability to find solutions to problems, even though you're feeling all of these emotions and other emotions might be involved. 0 is you can't do it. and 5 is, you know what? You can definitely problem solve even when there are emotions that are involved, and find right solutions even though emotions are involved. So that would be a 5. Where do you rate yourself on that? And what about for reality testing? Are you able to see the facts? Are you able to see things as they are when there are emotions involved? And so that would be on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 is, nope, not at all. I get all caught up with my emotions. They cloud my ability to see what's really happening. That would be a 0. And of course, the 5 would be at the other end, where you are able to, be aware that these emotions are here, and still be able to know exactly what's happening, and know exactly how things are, so that you can make a decision. That's reality testing. And the last skill is impulse control. Another really, really important skill to be aware of. So of course, impulse control is that ability to resist or to delay an impulse, a drive, or a temptation to act. And that involves sometimes, rash behaviors and decision making. This is a really cool one. I don't know if you've ever seen the psychology test there. This was on a video that I seen a while ago, where children are in a room and there's a nice bowl of candies. I think it might have been a marshmallow. And you're asking the children to wait as long as possible to, to take the marshmallow. And you tell them you can't have a marshmallow until, a certain amount of time goes by. And you can see the children just holding on and looking at that marshmallow and trying, and trying to control their impulses. And then you have other children that are just, you know what, I don't have any control over my impulses. they grab the marshmallow right away and start eating it. So are you aware of how you are able to resist or delay an impulse, a drive? So on that scale of 0 to 5, 0 would be, forget it, I have absolutely no control over my impulses, and 5 would be, yeah, I'm able to delay it. I might be able to delay it for a week or two, or, a few minutes. So it's that awareness of the ability to delay that. Because, rash actions can be very, very costly. Mistakes can often be avoided simply by taking the time to stop and to think and to make a plan. And you see how this is all related to decision making. One of the skills that I've been working on and practices that I've been working on is meditation, mindfulness meditation. And I'm going to stop right here and put my timer on for 1 minute. Let's see now. I love this app. It's called Insight Timer. I'm going to be using that for my 21-day challenge. And I'm going to put the timer on for just 2 minutes. Okay? Just 2 minutes. And during these 2 minutes, what we're going to do is simply breathe. It's a mindful breath, mindfulness meditation. Simply to breathe. But I want you to also to notice your impulses. Whether it's an impulse to scratch, to touch, an impulse, you might have an impulsive thought that comes in your mind. Whatever impulses are coming to you, to come into surface while we're practicing our mindful breath meditation, just notice it. That's all. Just notice it. All right, I'm going to start the timer. And for any meditation, you could close your eyes if you'd like, or a simple gaze. I like listening to sounds, but you can simply pay attention to your breath, just breathing naturally and noticing when you have an impulse to do something. That's right, just breathe. Notice any sensations that might be coming up and what's happening around those sensations. That was 2 minutes. And so during this 2 minutes, what did you notice? Now, we're talking about impulse control here mostly, but did you notice that you wanted to do something? Wanted to scratch your nose? Wanted to, relieve an itch? Whatever that was. One thing I want to tell you is that, and I tested this before, I remember trying to, doing some meditation and just noticing that I'm so fidgety and scratching and wanted to touch. And I did relieve that, that itchiness that I had. But then I tried it again, and I tried to just let it go and not pay attention to it. I noticed that it was there. I noticed that I was itching, but I let it go. And next thing you know, I don't have that itchy feeling anymore. So this might be a test to test your impulse control. Try meditation and notice, what comes up, what sensations come up. When we practice mindfulness meditation, it's called a practice, so that when we are in real life and we are in a situation where we're feeling upset, noticing the impulse that we might have to lash out, to say something. When you practice it, you notice the sensations. And when you're practicing to improve your impulse control, you might notice it and go, I've just noticed that I was going to say something, but I'm not. So you're holding on. And it gives you that moment, that space to think about another way of responding. And of course, when you work with a coach, an emotional intelligence coach like me, this is what we work on, right? If you want to work on your impulse control, for example, because you're noticing then that is what's causing you problems in making decisions, for example. This is what we work on. So today we talked about the competency of decision making and the 3 skills that are related to or that impact our decision making: problem solving, reality testing, and impulse control. And stay tuned for tomorrow. We talk about stress management, which is the last competency. stress management, we'll be talking about flexibility, stress tolerance, and optimism. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes now to talk to you about my 21-day challenge, which is coming up on May 4th, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will be providing more information, but the idea is to improve our well-being. And we will be practicing mindfulness meditation as well as some positive psychology interventions so that we start feeling well again. We start feeling good. We become more aware of how our emotions might be driving us. All right, so stay tuned for more information on that. And for more information on my services, I'd like you to go to my website at www.backinthegrooveagain.com. I'd love to be your coach, so send me an email. And I also added the link to my calendar on my website, so you can also schedule some time there. Thanks. Bye.